The population decline is really adding to this challenge of the spreading the costs out over a larger group of people. The infrastructure that we have is sized for 1 million people, but is being supported with rates by less than 300,000. So, that is part of the challenge. The rates support our operation. The less people there are paying those rates, the more challenging it is on the ratepayers. We're proud to say, though, that we still have some of the lowest rates in the country. So that brings me to kind of the statement of the day here. The Water Division is projected to deplete our contingent fund balance by the end of the fiscal year. This is information that we track, that we update based on revenue projections, based on expenses, but a lot of these things are dynamic. We have expenses that go up and down based on seasonality, water main breaks, which we do have a lot of, and we'll show later on, more than the national average. So the infrastructure is aging. We have not done, to keep up with renewing that on a schedule. So now I'm going to go into the cost drivers that we're experiencing. We've broken this apart into 4 main categories here. Aging infrastructure, this will sound like a broken record, but rising emergency costs. One of the factors that we watch and that has brought us here to present this information quicker today than we anticipated, we had the highest number of main breaks in 2025 that we've had in over 7 years. 399 breaks. We go out, we address those, we repair those. They cost on average $13,000 per, and that is just a localized repair. That is not renewing the infrastructure. That is not renewing the water main. That is an emergency cost. These emergency costs will continue to rise if we do not do the level of renewal that we need to be doing. The next driver here is the staffing. So, we have a blended staffing mix here that I'm going to talk about. It talks about the city forces, personnel that we have that are employed directly by the city, but also the contract labor that we rely on, that the industry has grown to rely on. And increased competition is one of the things that is driving that cost up. So in the water sector specifically, the professionals that have that kind of experience are garnering a higher salary. We have to match that level in order to attain this talent. Next item here is inflation, price volatility. This is cooling a little bit, but the effects are still there. That energy and that electrical cost is approximately $5 million, but as Ameren gets rate increases, those are borne by us and then, of course, passed on to the ratepayers as well through the rates. Now, every time Ameren gets a rate increase, we don't go turn around and raise our rates. It's absorbed by us until we can accommodate that in the next increase, in the next adjustment. The last item here is major capital projects. So, item 1, aging infrastructure. The way you combat that is by renewing the system, putting money back into it. The rate increases helped. The rate increases that were passed in 2023 and 2024, those did allow us to start doing some small level of renewal. We have seen the benefits there.
But we raised this issue first in 2023 when the city approved a 44% increase in approximately 3.5 weeks. And that increase moved forward with little or no meaningful opportunity for public participation and without access to what we thought was necessary to consider whether the Water Division's proposal was warranted. We just didn't have enough information. We didn't know, perhaps the rate proposed was too high or maybe it was too low. And beginning in the fall of 2024, we began working with the Jones administration. And then at the request of Mayor Spencer's administration, we submitted a proposed rate review process of May 2025. But to date, no formal procedure has been established. And second, we're asking that the Board of Alders enact a rate review process by ordinance. This process has been submitted to both the city and then we presented. I sent one to Alderwoman Schweitzer also, and we hope that that has been shared with the committee members. Our proposal is designed to ensure open government, create an accessible and transparent public record, provide for local public hearings, encourage broad agreement among community stakeholders in the Water Division, and allow for informed presentations to this committee. You know, this issue and our request is especially urgent given the current conditions. As Commissioner Patel noted, that there are more than 16,000 delinquent accounts. And we've worked closely with the Water Division to publicize the Customer Assistance Program. But despite that, we know that there are a lot of city residents that are struggling to keep up with costs. MSD is in the midst of a 32% rate increase. Ameren and Spire rates have increased. Ameren by 12%, Spire by 10 to 12%, depending on where you live in Missouri. And any additional city water rate increase will compound those pressures. And we also know that over 80% of city residents are on a flat rate, which means that when costs go up, there's really not much that they can do to adjust their usage to lower their bills.
You want to ensure that revenues are in line with the cost of running this utility. And I hear what was said by the consumer advocate, but also listening to the data that you provided, it occurs to me that as we sit today, revenues are not in line with the cost of running this utility. And they're not even close. We're not even in the ballpark and I wrote down as many numbers as I can. And I'm thinking out loud right now that there's little doubt in my mind that when we talk about rates, we need to start preparing our residents that they're getting probably an unbelievable deal right now, especially when we look at our neighbors in St. Louis County and what Missouri American Water charges for their water, or we look across the state at the Kansas City Water Company.